It is definitely not going to be quiet this week because it is the Waste Management Phoenix Open, home to the loudest hole in golf. I'm Teryn Schaefer here with John Swantek. And Swan, why don't we start with that? The famous 16th hole there at TPC Scottsdale.
It's crazy, and I tell you what, you better embrace it. If you come in there looking to hide, if you're a player, they will swallow you up. So you might as well enjoy yourself, whether the result is good or bad.
The 163-yard par 3, they can pack about 20,000 there into what they call the Coliseum. And you're right, it gets very rowdy, and it's fun. The players like it. It's something unique.
Yeah, and that whole finishing stretch, really, 16, 17, and 18, we've seen so many dramatic moments and finishes through the years. Like last year, which, 72 holes was not enough to decide matters between Matsuyama and Rickie Fowler at Scottsdale.
Yeah, we had a 4-hole playoff, and Hideki Matsuyama came out on top. Rickie Fowler was pretty broken up about it, so let's hear from him after last year's finish.
Well, I mean, the hard part is having, all my friends and family and Grandpa and my dad who haven't seen me win. So, but I'll be able to kind of hang with them tonight. So I'll be all right, but with how good I'm playing, I know I can win. So that's the hard part.
Kind of tough to hear Fowler like that and to see him so emotional. And, lately he hasn't really had it all together either.
Yeah, and you wonder how much of a lasting effect there is, how much scar tissue there is after a moment like that, because Rickie hasn't won since then. So I'd be curious to see how he responds coming back to TPC Scottsdale here this week.
It could be, a little fire for him, but I was out at Torrey Pines this past week for Farmers, and his coach Butch Harmon was out there, and they were working on ball positioning and different things during his practice round. So I'm curious what state he's in right now.
No question what state Hideki Matsuyama is in right now in terms of the quality and the caliber of his game around the globe over the last 4 or 5 months. The guy's been unbelievable.
Yeah, it's funny how you have a couple 59s and then we sort of forget about the guy or not talk about the guy who is still the hottest right now. He's second in the FedEx Cup. He's had 4 wins and 2 runner-up T33 last week.
Yeah, and this is where we're at with Hideki. He finished 33rd at the Farmers, and we're like, what happened? Why did he finish 33rd? That's the level of expectation that he has now created. He'll look to carry that this week as he defends his title, but it's a pretty deep and talented field, including the guy who beat him in Malaysia and in Maui, Justin Thomas, back in action this week.
Who is the #1 guy in the FedEx Cup standings too. So yeah, Justin Thomas, definitely, if Hideki's not the hottest right now, Justin Thomas is. I'm sure he's gonna be a hot pick. Back-to-back wins. 3 in his last 4 starts on the PGA Tour, and he's had kind of an up and down history here at TPC Scottsdale. Last year missed the cut, but back in 2015, T17, so top 20.
Yeah, and I think JT this year, and by extension Jordan Spieth in the last couple of years, have sparked belief in this younger generation of what is possible. And we saw that with Jon Rahm at Torrey Pines last week. These guys now believe that they don't have to wait their turn anymore. They can go out and just clutch a tournament by its throat like Rahm did in San Diego.
And I think a lot of people are going to be buzzing about Rahm this week, given the fact that he is, Arizona State product, and he lives there in Scottsdale coming off of a win. So I think a lot of people are going to be talking about him this week.
I think he might be a trendy pick, too. I wouldn't be surprised to sort of see him keep it rolling. As far as our picks go, though, I do want to keep the youth movement going because I think what Rahm did, as I said, sort of reaffirmed for this young brigade that, we can go out and win right now as well. Patrick Rodgers was pretty impressive to me last week. A couple rough holes down the stretch, but he held it together for 72. You learn a little bit about yourself and your game when you fall short, and I think Rodgers will sort of put that to work and to use this week and the rest of the year. I think so.
Not to mention he's used to playing in that part of the country, going to Stanford and everything. That helps these guys if they're in a familiar territory. And someone that is in a familiar territory, Pat Perez is definitely my pick this week. Born in Phoenix, he's very familiar with the area, and coming off of that labrum surgery that ended his season last spring, he has come out of the gates hot. He won in Mayakoba, second at Sony, and then, this past week at Farmers T14 there at Torrey Pines. So he has jumped all the way up to 3rd in the FedEx Cup standings. Can you believe Pat Perez is there right now?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, it was 7 years since he had last won. So there's a belief there, and he's physically healthy, as you point out. I think that's a big deal.
So those are our picks, and of course, we can't wait to find out what happens this week here at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. You can tune in starting on Thursday on the Golf Channel from 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, PGA Tour Live's back. You'll be on there.
Yep. Tune in on Thursday and Friday morning at 9:15 a.m. Eastern.
The gang from PGA Tour Radio on Sirius XM starts their live call, which can be heard on PGATour.com beginning Thursday at 1 Eastern.
It's going to get rowdy, so make sure and tune in and follow along on PGATour.com.